Alright, there we go. So now I can put this on YouTube without copyright infringement or copyright strikes. So I'm just trying to get these about equidistant so they're more or less centered. And then, so we are about an inch from each edge here, right? So I want to go about an inch in from the sides. Looking up at me, you're cold and tired, that is easy to see. Lower a rope to you, a bucket on the line. Your membrane will be soft and smooth, and your heart will be mine. Sorry. Autofocus. Let's see. Which camera are we talking about? Are we okay now? It might be me. I apologize for that. Not sure if I can maybe. Well, let's do this. Let's open up the main garage door. We'll get some sunlight in here. Sunlight always helps. All right, so what I want to do, okay. This is just getting a bit tricky here. So I need to accommodate these legs, right? And I need a cross brace right about here as well. So theoretically, if I go about this distance, I think that should all line up very nicely. Can we see what's going on here? All right. I suppose this doesn't need to be all that exact. They just all need to be the same. And I actually only need, I think, 2 of these, so. And then I will go walking with my little dog. Does the music sound all right to everybody? This is my second time with music on this channel. And I think that's my signal to not include this song in the playlist anymore. We're striving to be at least slightly family friendly here. And this playlist is basically the playlist I normally listen to when I'm in the truck or whatnot. With just some of the little more body songs filtered out. This hold fast is not holding. Onto a 100% pirate music playlist. Now, is this like actual pirate songs, or are these like just songs that have something to do with piracy? Like, are you doing Gilbert and Sullivan on there as well? Now let me, I gotta check and make sure this is actually gonna work like I intend it to work. Sea shanties and yes, okay. So we do the, pour the pirate sherry, fill the pirate glass. Right? That's and to make us more the merry, let the pirate bumper pass. Okay, so I want this to go here, right? Let's see. Okay, so let's zoom out here some. This is approximately what we're going for. So traditional songs, the derelict or assholes rule. Okay. Pirate rap songs. I don't know any pirate rap songs, though I imagine they're popular in Somalia. So we've got a little cutout here, and this is just going to brace it and prevent racking, hopefully. And yeah, this is about what I was looking for. And all right, I got, well, thank you very much for joining. I'm going to pronounce your name Ubiquity. Because I don't know the proper way to pronounce it. Talking about, yeah, that's about the right. Yeah, I think I'm okay there. And so now I just need to figure out like a shelf around here. But yeah, my music tastes are kind of all over the place, as you might have been able to ascertain from the previous 3 songs. But yeah, we're in here, we're making things out of wood and trying to figure out what it's going to look like at the end of the day. Ubiquity was taken. So I have the right pronunciation, just the wrong emphasis. I actually had to, for some reason, someone had taken the Daddy Warcrimes handle, or at least all the good ones, and which is unfortunate and kind of strange too, because I was like the one and only Daddy Warcrimes on the Curse platform before they moved over to Twitch. So I was hoping my handle would just translate over, and that would be fine. But that did not work as intended. Okay, I'm going to take these down before they crash and get lots of dents in them. I am making a sofa table. So this is a table that's going to sit in my living room right behind the couch, so we can say if this was the sofa table, I'm sitting on the couch, I can reach back here and put my tablet or my phone on there. You know, we can hide the remote controls. No power tools. I don't think, no, we're not doing any power tools today. We generally do not like power tools in this shop, but we are not purists, not by any means. So I use power tools. Well, one when I'm trying to get it done quickly to shut the wife up. And knock a beer off behind the couch, right? Generally, there is not beer drunk on the couch. Bourbon occasionally, and I have plenty of opportunity to knock that off to the side of the couch. And this is just going to be a pain in my side, isn't it? And about a month ago, I managed to, for some reason, I had the glass of bourbon just sitting on the couch arm, and knocked it off and broke the glass, and there were shards of glass all over the living room, which was awesome. This is just not going to work. So I'm going to toss this one to the side. I'll use this one instead. Alright, square. Yeah, I'm not an avid drinker by any means, so I do enjoy a nice glass of bourbon occasionally. Or a tequila sunrise. As far as beer goes, you have to get the right kind of beer. Don't drink the cheap beer. So if any of you happen to be in the Midwest, there's a brewery called Flat Branch out in Columbia, Missouri, which is right in the middle of Missouri. And they make what they call an oil change oatmeal stout. And it is the most delicious beer you will ever find, I believe. And McDermott, in case you were wondering, the reason why we use hand tools is mostly because they require no power. And these are not even. Let's even these up. Because when the zombie apocalypse occurs, we're not going to have any powers, and ergo no power tools. You'll be able to use your chainsaws and your gas-powered tools for a little bit, but that won't last forever. Whereas these hand tools, they will last you a lifetime if you know how to maintain them. Just going to clean these up. So I got a number 62. This is a low angle plane, which makes it really good for trimming up end grain. And this is going to guarantee me a accurate 90-degree cut. And that's 90 degrees, so it'll be 90 degrees from the face and 90 degrees from the edges. Looking good there. So this one's a little bit long. So evidently I did not measure it correctly, but that's okay. So this band right here that we're listening to right now is called the Mathematics. And they're a small-time band out of a town called Manhattan, Kansas. They're a very strange band. I tell you, I need a better headphone solution because these things don't just don't want to stay in. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not getting any sound coming out of the tablet. Oh, well, that didn't help. All right, how are we looking now? It's actually probably as close as I want to tempt fate. So those are evenly spaced. All right, so now the next question is, I need a middle shelf. And how do I want to address that? Actually, what I should probably do is make some. So I've got these, which are going to be on top, and these are just kind of horizontal lateral stretchers, which I could do just another set of those, only lower. Do I have enough lumber? I'm pretty sure I do not have enough lumber. Huh. I'm always open to suggestions, folks. If you got ideas, feel free to shout them out. Now, what I could do, so I got 4.5 of these boards. Let's see, how long is this one? Not long enough. Okay, so we'll not use that one. Take your life with cocaine. What I'm trying to do, Ubiquity, is I'm trying to create, this is the top, and here's a leg. So what I'm wanting to do is create another shelf about halfway down, so about this level. And I'm trying to figure out if I have enough lumber to do that, and I'm not sure I do. So what I might end up having to do is taking a board, which is about the same size as these, and ripping it in half, and because I don't imagine that's going to be supporting as much weight, so I should be okay just to go it that way. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I guess we are using power tools. So let's figure out how to get the table saw set up here real quick. Lou, you go over there. And this is one of the issues with trying to figure things out as you go, is you generally aren't prepared for what you're trying to do. Let's turn this around. And I'm not going to be able to see Chat here for a minute because Chat's on the other side. And that was the microphone that I just bumped. Sorry about the noise and bumping into microphones. Alright, I need power now. Which means unplug that. When I finally build my next shop, there's going to be a lot more power. I'm going to have power outlets everywhere. That's the plan anyway. All right, so what else do I need? I need hearing protection, I think. Have I got any? Always keep headphones in your storm shelter. All right. So this board is 3.5 inches. And so we're going to need to cut that in half, which would be 1.5 plus 1/4, so 1 3/4, and we're going to have to subtract about 1/8 of an inch for the kerf. So just call it, say, 1.5 inches. Let's do 1.5 inches, and we'll cut both of them to the same size. Destroys everything that I love. All right, 2 cuts. Oh, wait, I need eye protection. Do I have eye protection? I have to. Got like 50 pairs of safety glasses somewhere in the shop. Well, folks, this is a little bit embarrassing. I'm going to have to maybe run out into the backyard where in my garden shed where I know I have safety glasses. Just check 1 or 2 other spots. Okay, that'll do it. When you don't use power tools often, you forget where you put the safety gear. So let's put you guys over here. You get a nice view. Okay. So that's probably not the best way to make that cut. I don't have a good outfeed table or anything like that. So this is what we're going with. All right, and it's not that we couldn't have done this by hand. It's just that it would have been a waste of your time. All right, let's see what we're looking at now. I hope I didn't lose all my viewers because of my succumbing to the temptation of table saw. Well, looks like the stream is still running, so yeah. Looks like I'm going to have to take this song off rotation as well. Joko, why'd you do that to me? Of course, what was I expecting with Joko? He did write 1st of May. A square. There we go. Your shark test on fire, you're a big glow pterodactyl. Guess where? There we go. That was not a pretty cut. All right. Let's try and do better next time. Okay, so we got the second one over here still. What have we here? Geeky McFangirl is hosting. Well, thank you, ma'am. How was your stream? Hope I didn't miss anything too interesting. And now I am showing no viewers. Hopefully that resolves itself. Don't know if it's just my app that's giving us trouble here, or I hope not. Well, I'm just going to truck on as if everything's okay then. That's just a light scratch there because we're only going to use that to keep the line straight. We're not using it as a knife wall. Oh yeah, where I go, I just don't know. Gotta take it slow. And I find my peace of mind. Okay, so now I need to figure out where these are going to sit on the legs. And I'm actually, I can set these aside for now. Try and get some more room on the bench. Set the tabletop aside. So how's everybody doing this evening? I think Geeky McFangirl was making a Plague Doctor mask of sorts, which looked very, very nice. She does fine work from what I can tell. So, I need here is let's go ahead and mark these all at once. That's going to make things easier in the long run. So we'll just get these all nice and lined up. We'll drop our headphones on the floor. These things are nothing but trouble, let me tell you. Get no respect. Okay. So what we need is about, I'm going to say, well, first I need tape measure. So we're going to be sticking books on this. And the books are going to be, let's say, approximately a foot tall. So we're going to give it, we'll give it 15 inches. That'll give us more than enough room, I think anyway. To get the books in and retrieve them. And let's just make sure we're doing things right here. Okay, so that's the outside. That's most definitely the outside, and that's where we want the supports to be. I'm just going to use a couple quick clamps here. Keep these together and keep them lined up. And now I can make just one line, one score all the way across of it. And this will be the top of the, wait a minute, hold on. So this is going to be like that, and then the shelf's going to rest up on top of it. Let's move that down just a little bit. Right? Move it down 3/4 inch thickness of the board. Let's put the camera where we can actually see what's going on. Everybody see now? Okay. I get paranoid when no one talks to me in chat, especially when there's this many people on. I think either they're all completely aghast by what I'm saying, or alternatively, I'm having technical difficulties and I just can't see what anybody is saying. And I can never tell. I'm monitoring chat on 2 different devices. All right, so that's just a little knife wall. And I'm going to rest that there and kind of reach under and create... Nope, that's not what I wanted to do, because I need to go the full width of this, don't I? All right, let's try that properly. Reach under. So yeah, I can't tell sometimes. On occasion, I've actually had streams where people have talked to me and I just couldn't see it. And I probably should have gone the other way. Oh well. All right. Now, I think I should be able to cut these all at once. It's a bit ambitious. But I think I can make it work. Try and get them lined up and flush on top as well. All right. So the next thing I'm going to need to do here is mark the depth of cut. So we'll just take our marking gauge. As it just so happened, it's already set to the appropriate depth. Let's go ahead and score it down here so we can get a nice 90 degree. Just a very light line. I woke up Roswell. Well, you know, she can get over it. We had Himmelstas in the shop earlier. He was also not very happy about it. And that's going to tell us how far down or how far across we need to cut. All right. But at least now I know that people can't actually type and I can't actually read. Let's maybe get this in the vise. I'm a little bit concerned of how unstable this is being. And now that I have it in the vise, I actually don't need these clamps, but I'll put this one back over here just in case. Are we going to be happy with that? Okay, so we get a little bit of a knife wall here. And this is giving us a kind of wedge-shaped spot for our saw to rest in, which lines it up very nicely with our knife cut. Well, you know, that's what he gets when he wants to play in the workshop. I'm going to be quite a bit more reluctant to let him out here anymore because he's been scratching up the weather stripping. Or chewing up the weather stripping, I should say. And we didn't need lines, vertical lines on the back side, because once we cut this wedge here, this angle from the back to the front, so up to here, down to where I've marked over here, the saw will just ride in the curve, and it'll stay relatively straight. We'll do the same on here. We'll start the cut on the back of the board, and we'll work our way across until it's straight across. And then we'll start paying attention to the line I've cut on this side, working it down at an angle. On the back door, no, on the garage door, right here. That's not a pretty cut. I could have done that a lot better. All right, now let's grab ourselves Mr. 1-inch chisel and start trying to cut out some of the middle here. We're not going to take all of it out at once. We'll go about halfway down. And from this side, we're going to come over on here. We always try to work when we can from the outside in. And I work with the bevel facing down when I can, or at least I am right now, because that gives me a bit more control. I'm using the softer face of the mallet to protect my chisel. All right. Now I could just use the chisel to go all the way down, but I want to have a bit more control over it so we get a nicer cut. So I'm just getting close with the chisel because the chisel's going to be able to take out a lot more material a lot more quickly. And for the rest of it, I'm going to grab my router plane. It's this guy right here. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set the final depth of cut, so loosen everything down. And this is a depth stopper we got right here, this little brass mechanism. I'm going to do it from my side because I can see better and you guys don't necessarily need to see. But I'm lowering the blade until it gets right into the final depth line, right? I'm going to tighten down this mechanism to lock the final stop in. And now I can back it up. And make just short advancements. So all I got to do is loosen the blade catch here, advance the blade a little bit, and take out material. And the high spot is in the middle here. So I don't need to be worrying about the outside just yet. Got a little bit there. And the only thing I want to worry about is I always want to go from the outside in. Clear Cut Woodworking. Good afternoon. Life's going pretty good. we're on fall break at school, so that means I get to spend time catching up on chores at home. This being one of them. Now, this isn't necessarily the fast way or the best way, but this is, I think, the safest way to make cuts like this. The router plane, if nothing else, is a very, very deliberate tool. Yeah, I had to put my sawtill on hold to make a table to sit behind the sofa. And yesterday, we had to go buy lilacs and plant those. Which I'm not necessarily a fan of lilacs, but I'm a fan of not being in arguments. Yeah, still, this is I work slowly because I like to enjoy the work. And if you she do the sanding, she's actually watching, so no, she'll do the sanding when I get finished with the joinery. And we still got, what, about 1/8 of an inch to go here. But this will give us a nice, even cut on the inside. Consistent depth all the way across. Which should hopefully translate into a level shelf in the middle of the table. I keep meaning to sharpen this router plane, and I keep forgetting to. But it's still cutting. So, we'll just have to say that it's good enough. Moving around a little bit less, maybe my headphones will stay in now. Very slight advancements with the router plane is the way to go, I found. If you try to get too ambitious, you'll have nasty jagged cuts, you'll have tear out, and you'll actually be wasting your time because it won't cut as quickly. almost done. With these cuts anyway. All right, we got any further to go? Yep. Always cut from the outside in. Don't go all the way through, because you can blow out the sides. All right, let's see. Let's get a chisel in here. Clean up the sides. These are not exactly vertical, so I can adjust for that. And we got little fuzzy bits in the corner, so we'll sever the grain. Clean it out with a brush. Nope, nope, more fuzzy bits over here. The corners will get you every time, the inside corners. Let's see how well this fits. Not well at all. Okay, where are we? Where are we catching? Could probably force that in, which I'd like to avoid. Let's do a little chamfer on the bottom, just on the bottom. So it's less likely to be seen on the bottom than it would be on the top. And maybe that'll help us ease it in. No. Okay. Get a mallet. Where's the mallet? Yeah, still see what's going on. It's probably not a great angle. I was kind of hoping to avoid that, so kind of compressing the end grain like this. Okay. A little more just right here. Good enough. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever done, but it should suit our purposes. I want to make a supersonic man out of you. Okay. I've got those. I need those. Okay. I think I've missed some chat here. Nope, nope. You're just a different color on that screen. Something about this song that makes me want to kill zombies. Don't stop me now. All right. Let's just go ahead. Okay. See if I can't get the sticker off here. Not easily, it doesn't look like. New Zealand, you have decent lumber products, but your stickers are atrocious. No reason, short people got no reason. Short people got no reason to live. Walk around telling great big lies. Sure people got nobody. People got nobody. And that just every time. Don't want no show. Don't want no show. People right. Come on. This hold fast is giving me nothing but trouble. It's alright, I've got a vise. We all have our vices, don't we? This one did not cut square as I had hoped. That's okay. I've got a block plane. do the same thing with this guy. Mark it to length. Mark across the face. Mark over the edge. Nice crisp line. Is in the transmissions will resume. We'll try to use drugs to keep us all down and hope that we will never see the truth around. Never see half trapped to keep us trapped in the green belts wrapped around our mind, and then this red tape to keep the truth confined. There we go, that was nice. Clean up fuzzies. Okay, so that means you go away, you stay. Two are fine, you go away. Alright, so we want to have fewer scraps of wood on the bench top to help us from confusing the parts we need from the parts we don't need. Alright. And I've actually got 3 boards left over that I'm going to have to do a glue up on. So another panel so we can have a shelf. Well, I'm going to do that towards the end. For now, let us start charging our phone that we're using as an OBS remote control. Okay, how do we want to go about this? Well, let's start with the top. Go top to bottom. Does that sound good to you guys? So that's what we're going to do. Don't need the tabletop. Oh. So that's another thing I need, but I'm going to measure that later. Okay, so I need a center support. So I'm going to get that later. So we won't worry about that just yet. Store the hold fast for now. We don't need that for the time being. I am starting to wish I had a tool well. So that's the bottom, and this is the bottom, right? So let's do those in the proper arrangement, orientation, whatever we're going to call that. These are going to go here. Wait a minute, hold on. I have thought of something. Okay, I'll put that aside for just now. We can take this, bear with me, like that, huh? And we can assemble 2 legs, 2 side legs at the same time, and then we can attach them to everything else. Y'all following me? Am I making sense? I'm slightly tempted to cut a small dado sort of thing across here. Don't know if that's what I want to do just yet. Okay. But this is what the legs are supposed to look like. I'm just trying to think of the best way to actually get these attached. Well, let's break out some clamps. Dance Commando, we love you. Let's get this party started right, y'all. Let's get this party started right. I went to the store to get more fire to start the war. Girls are pretty, girls are nice. Take your chances, roll the dice. Take your chances. It would be awesome if we could dance. It would be awesome, yes. Let's start the dance. All right, let's get a pencil mark. Pencil mark. Pencil sharpener. I'm just cutting the tip off every time, aren't I? Okay, it doesn't look like we're going to be assembling the side stretchers today. Which is kind of good, because I wasn't sure how I was going to go about doing those anyway. If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. Never learn how to write. Since I began to crawl, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. And when I'm doing the side structures, what I'm thinking is I might drive some dowels through it. I think that might, one, help with stability just a little bit, but more importantly, it'll look nice. Okay, so how am I going to do this? There we go. That'll do us. A couple more clamps. It's a wonder I can think it all. And the lack of education hasn't hurt me none. I can read writing on the wall. Gotta make sure those are nice and lined up. Oh, let's not do that. Photographs and mama, don't take my cold chrome away. This is always one of the most difficult parts of woodworking, I find, is trying to get the clamps on and keep everything lined up like it's supposed to be. That should be lined up well enough. I got a decent amount of squeeze out. We'll just take some shavings and whatnot off the ground, which is why we don't clean up the shop until the end. And just take care of some of that glue that's exposing itself like that. Nasty, nasty glue. Should be ashamed of yourself. All right. I'm going to set this aside. Let that glue cure for a little bit. Get some more glue on my fingers, because why not? Mama, don't take my cold chrome away. And I'm now realizing that all that time I spent with the pencil was completely wasted. Something like yar. Chat, you are so very, very quiet. I'm starting to worry about your safety. Are you okay? I've heard a good way of doing this is putting some salt in the joint, and that will help for the wood to grip, and that won't slide around quite as bad. I've not tried that technique just yet. And there's the mail Jeep. Guess where I just had another clamp. Oh, there it is. It's hiding on the rack somehow. I am definitely in need of a new clamp rack. So I now have more clamps. The one for me. Okay, now you stay put. And I do have a complaint about these Bessie clamps. It is that these rubber pads fall off a little bit too easily. Stuff about a bee sting, nothing but a bee thing. Better chance you're gonna buy it at the mall. But it's a 23 to 4 to 1 that you can fall in love by the end of this song. So get up, tell the bookie, put a bet on, and a damn thing will go wrong. Come on, stay lined up. Hit by the A train, crashed in an airplane. I wouldn't recommend either one. All right. You're good to go there. Things go wrong, but I'll take my sins on wrong. And where's that lower cross piece? There we go. Make sure that's the right size. Double check. That should be okay. Yeah, so we are not. Ooh. That's probably not a good way of doing things. Let's get glue in there first. Use that together. Make sure this, whoa, drop it on the floor. Come on now, let's make this thing work. Nice and lined up. We're doing a little bit better on squeeze out for this round. Yes, I drank a lot today. Yes, a drink will make this woman go away. All right, there's my two legs. And I think that might be all I can do with that project for now. Except, yeah, we can do that too. So, no, we can't because we don't have enough clamps anymore. I was thinking we could maybe glue up the panel for the bottom shelf, which that would require a lot of clamps. I think that would require, you know, about 18 clamps, I'm going to say, which most of them are over there, so that's not going to happen just yet. What can we do instead? What can we do with the drunken sailor? All right, setting these to the side too. Well, I suppose we could get back to the sawtill. That might be some fun. We're going to need that. Keep that handy. Okay, so I think the last thing we were doing was working on these guys, which I believe we can still do that. In fact, let's get some sandpaper. What have I got? I've got some 220 and some 100 grit. Let's go with the 100 grit. No, that's 220. Why is there 220 grit in my 100 grit box? This is unacceptable. Side of the end of the world, my life is gonna be if it's gone. Because I'm moving like half a mile an hour and I start staring at the passengers waving by. Can you tell me what was ever really special about all this time? So I'm looking for something for that inside contour. Let's see if I can figure that out. That's promising. And I couldn't stop myself. Started running, but there's nowhere to run to. I sat down on the street, took a look at myself. So where you going, man? You know the world is headed for hell. Okay, let's do something here. Try and protect our work surface just a little bit. It's all gone. And there's no one at home. Well, it was cool. It's just all cool. And it's over for me. And it's over for you. It was gone, gone, lady. It's all gone. There's no one on the corner. Alright, so a little spray adhesive on a paint can, and we've now got an appropriately radiused sanding block. And hopefully I will never need to know what was in this can, because it now has no label. And this is where you would normally have a spindle sander. I do not own a spindle sander. What would also be nice is something like 80 or 60 grit sandpaper, which I should probably invest in someday. Actually, let's take a look at what paper I have. It's 400. The 80 grit is empty. What's this? 60 grit. See if maybe we can make this work. Yeah, that does seem to be cutting quite a bit faster. And of course, my great fear right now is I'm going to inadvertently put a hole in this can and drizzle its contents all over my bench in this workpiece. Okay, well, I'm going to leave some of the chisel marks in there, just because I think it would be way, way too time-consuming to get them all out. I don't think the radius is going to... Maybe. Ooh. In case anyone was ever wondering, it's always a good time for Johnny Lang. Someone was sitting at a red light. Ah, Silisu. I don't know if that's turning it up for you or just for me. So make sure to get that spray adhesive out of here before I confuse it with shellac again. That's a bad time. Another little strip. Oh, don't you stay put. Up, baby, on a Friday night. Dance the night. Oops. Got the lyrics wrong. There's lions and all of them would dance. You would dance, would dance, would dance. Alright. We're going to call that good. Okay, so what are we going to do next? Let's separate these two, for which we need a dowel, which is hiding right here. And let's go ahead and do those. We'll join those. And that's E. That looks like an E. Okay. Looks good. And this one is F. So I should see an F and FU2. Tap that home. And so these should line up just like so. Well, we need to tap you home a little bit further. Okay, so that's how that works. Except I think we're gonna, yeah, let's go ahead and draw board these. Mostly for aesthetics, but actually it will also make the joint stronger, which is fine. You like strong joints. Okay, let's make just a quick rough mark about more hole there and a hole there. All right, that sound good to you? Let's get Mr. Brace out. And I'm going to do just a quick check here after I toss my headphones on the ground yet again. This is why we can't have nice things, folks. Okay, put you aside for just a second. Piece of scrap. This will do nicely. I'm just going to triple check because I'm pretty sure I already checked this. Okay. Well, if I had checked it, I would have been very, very much wrong. Because this does not fit in there. Which means we need to rummage. I'm as free as a bird now. And this bird you cannot change. Turn this down just a little bit. All right, grab my calipers. Try and find something a bit more appropriately sized. That seems almost too perfect. Yeah, let's try that. This feeling I can't change. Wow. This guy is just not cutting. Let's, before we get too involved, let's go ahead and see if it makes a nice fit. That'll do nicely. I just need it sharper, I think. Well, what do you say, chat? Should we attempt to sharpen our bit? Does that sound like a good use of our time? So I purchased this a good while back. Maybe zoom in here. And these files are a little bit different than a normal file because there's no cutting teeth on this edge. And I don't ever want to cut the outside of the spurs. So always just the inside. At least that's what the people who know what they're doing tell me. And these spurs just make the hole nice and round. And then we also need to, let's see, I think I want to go this way. And I've got a nice big chunk missing there. Which I'm not going to try and file back all the way to that. I'm just going to use the other one, so this side's more or less intact. I don't see any big nicks here. This is a complete novelty for me, chat, so if it works, we'll be surprised together. Come on, get in there. Let's make attempt number 3. I'm going to set Mr. File in there for later use. Well, I think that's actually cutting a decent amount better. as we do, turn it around if we want to do it properly. Okay, let's go with that. So, here's how we do a drawbore tenon. Step 1, get a box. Step 2, put a hole in the box. No, that's not what we do. So, we're going to bore a hole in the side of the tenon, or in the side of the mortise. Alright, got a little bit of a clog on the snail, so try and clean that out with a pencil. Always want to use something softer than steel to do that. Okay, and we're through on the other side. Actually, let's go a little bit lower here. Okay. And this could be a complete mistake. You generally do drawbore tenons on much bigger sorts of joints. Okay, we're through on that side. And I just want the snail to poke through. And now come through on this other side. And that should just cut through perfectly and meet in the middle. Right. And there's a decent amount of blowout here inside the mortise. So we're going to need to clean that out. We're not going to see it once this is assembled, but it could interfere with getting the tenon in there. Don't I have a little scooper? Yes, I do. Okay. Next step is we fit the tenon into the mortise, right? And let's get up here close. So you can see the tenon in here. We're going to do something a little bit sneaky here. We're going to, why don't you come over to my side? We're going to insert the auger bit into the same hole, line it up really nice, and just make a little mark there. And normally we'd be boring deeper, but this is what we got. That does not appear to be centered to me. Okay. So now we take this out, and I'm going to take my awl and make another mark just slightly above the mark I made here. And another one right here. Okay, so when we put the dowels through, it's going to pull the joint together tighter. And it's just a very, very slight offset. We don't want to go too far. So about the smallest adjustment that I could possibly make and still leave a distinctive mark. I think it's the snail's getting clogged, that's why it's not advancing. And my best friend, you know the story. Here it comes again. I have no pride. I have no shame. Gotta make it rain. Make it. You can almost see it turning. There we go. I want to believe in the mercy of the world again. Make it rain. That's not good. I got a little split just now. I was not expecting that. Make it rain. I'm thinking that maybe these dowels are too big for this task. So I might have made a error in judgment there. All right, let's get some dowels going. I can't escape, but nothing looks the same. Make it rain, make it rain. Got to taper the dowel just a little bit so we can get it started. work. Used to take this country. Alright, so make sure, if you can, when you're assembling or messing with mortises, keep the mortise above the vice jaws, so because I could compress that. Let's get some glue. Just remember where we put the glue. Okay, I gotta try something here. Headphones, you're bugging me. You're not staying in. Let's see what options I have. If I go with the smaller buds again. Is that gonna work? That feels a little bit better. Alright. Nope, earbud's just not cooperating. Come on. Okay, it looks like I did not measure this very well, because those are offset quite a bit more than I had intended. Okay. I'm going to have to do this. I'm just going to have to bore straight through it. Because this will offset way, way too much. Unfortunately, I screwed it up. And so this is not going to be an actual draw bore. This is just going to be a plugged. Oh, man. Where'd you go? I need you. There you are. Oh, man. Okay. So we messed up. We messed up big time. We did not apparently cut these correctly. They're kind of offset to the side, and I don't know how that happened. And I've got the mortise blowing out. So, lesson learned here is we made a really big mistake trying to do a drawbore tenon on this thing. So, we messed it up. It's okay now. I think that'll hold in place, but we're not going to do a drawbore or attempt to do a drawbore on the other side. Oh, man. So for this one, and I know it's going to look mismatched, but that's what we got to do. Okay, that's going to be good enough. Sorry about that. Oh, shoot. That's not where you belong. Still okay? Okay, we got pieces missing. You go there. All right. We gonna be okay? I'm sorry. You're a good camera. Didn't mean to knock you over. Okay. Let's get a clamp or two on this one, since we're not using dowels to hold it together. Yeah, that clamp's not long enough. All right.
You okay out there?
Yeah, I'm just knocking stuff over.
Okay.
Sure. I don't know why my audience is so quiet today.
I have no clue.
They're very, very shy folks, but that's okay. Lurk away, my friends. Lurk away. All right, now we come to the next part of trying to figure out what to do next. Well, let's just clean up a little bit. Slide down, yeah. All right, so I'm trying to let that glue just sit for a piece. Maybe take care of some administrative business while we're waiting. Like, say, this marking knife, which I believe I dropped on its tip earlier. Okay, come on, get out of there. Seems like maybe I folded over an edge because I've got had a nasty burr on there. This spear point knife, it's useful because it allows you to mark on either side of a line, but it does take a bit more sharpening. So let me try and find my oil can. There it is. Keep it nice and preserved. And since I'm already sharpening knives, Looking for a burr all the way across. Alright. Alright, so let's also address the dowel that we're going to use to hang our saws on. Well, I've got a mind to before I put this away. Come home with the morning light, my mother is. You gonna live your life right. Okay, this is rough cutting to length. Phone rings in the night, my father yells, what you gonna do with your life? Oh, daddy, do you know you're still number one? And girls, they wanna have fun. Some fun. When the working day is done, oh girls, they wanna have fun. And that should have been the dowel. Let's hope anyway. Gonna sand this down maybe just a little bit. Got some rough grain a little bit. I'm gonna be the one to walk in the sun, cause they wanna have fun. Alright, that'll do us. Think that glue will hold? I don't know. What do you think, chat? Yeah, let's go ahead and tempt fate. Let's actually, maybe, okay. How can we do this? Yeah, let's just tempt fate. Okay. That's B. That's D. So that goes up here, right? Yeah, it's a good thing we labeled these. Okay, so we don't need that yet. This is B. So that should be B here. I'm going to put down some paper towels to catch the glue. Alright, so this is going to be a tricky undertaking, and we're going to have to be kind of quick about it. And we're also going to need glue. So that's B. We're going to do B first. And then we're going to do D. D's right here. And a little bit on the outside here too. We're going to get some massive, massive squeeze out, I can tell. Okay, I need a hammer. All right, now over to this side. Leave the light on, I'll come back for you. I swear I'm gonna make it right. Okay, glue on the insides. And here's D. I'm so tired of giving in. All right, looking good so far. I'm probably using way, way too much glue on this. Fortunately, this Titebond 2 has got a decent amount of open time, so I'm not in too much of a rush. I don't want to waste time, that's for sure. But I can afford to do it carefully. Just gotta tap it home. Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take this apart. If we can. Alright. That was a mistake. Okay, just beveling the leading edge on this dowel. Should have thought about this earlier, but oh well. I do not remember putting this song on my playlist. Yeah, this drawbore tenon is really messing me up because the mortise is split. Right, but we're assembled. Okay, so we are not square. songs. That might be the case. I'm just trying to get this thing at least somewhat square. But yeah, there we are. Man, we've got the basic shape. So yeah, we can make this work, I think. Try and clean up some squeeze out. All right, let's look at the backing. Let's make some room over here. Plain, I don't need you at the moment. Soon, but not right now. Now, I know the commentary has not been all that amazing the last couple of minutes. What have we done here? Okay, hold on. Okay, wrong scene, sorry. But unfortunately, this operation was requiring a bit too much of my attention. I don't want that no more. And I didn't ask when we get paid. Quit my day job anyway. Guess it doesn't matter. Guess it doesn't matter anymore. 'Cause you're gonna go to the record store. You're gonna give them all your money. Radio plays what they want you to hear. Okay, so we need a backing, which I have here. And it fits perfectly. It's almost as if I measured it. It'll be so bad. And I know it won't be so bad. Alright. And the man said, it don't get better than this, no, no, no. Looks good. I wanted to get this in here before the glue sets up too far because it's going to help keep everything square. Hold fast. Where did you go? I'm just going to make a nice little cross cut right here. Let's get a clamp out. Many times I've cried alone. Always surprised how well you got my feelings to the bone. Don't want to lose you in there. I've invested too much time. To the thoughts that complicate your mind, we belong to the thunder. Thunder. Whatever was we belong together. your best to try and wipe your house clean. How much we really care. The voice inside me, I see your face everywhere. Still you say we belong to the light, we belong to the thunder. All right. So we should be able to fit this in here, and it should fit perfectly because we measured. Only issues were a little bit off square still, but that's okay. All right. That looks dang near perfect, but we're not doing that yet. Because we need to do the shelf. And we're a little bit over on the shelf. That's okay, we did that intentionally. Okay, which is H? That's H. Okay, square is here. Set you back on the floor. Some things never change at all. Keep on building prisons, gonna fill them all. Keep on building bombs, gonna drop them all. Putting your fingers there to the bone, breaking your back, make you sell your soul. It's filled with cold, suffocating soul. Love I try to follow, love will come set me free. Love will come set me free. I do believe. Yes. Perfect. It's like I made it, like I designed it that way. A little bead of glue right there. little bit of glue right there. Actually, glue is probably not something I should have done there. But we're doing end grain, so it probably won't stick all that well. Okay. Let's find some nails. Tell myself that you were right for me. Felt so lonely in your company. That was the an ache I still remember. Little hammer for the tacks. Get addicted to a certain kind of sadness. Make out like it never happened and nothing. Okay. Okay, I am very bad at nailing, it seems. Yeah. Oh man, that's terrible. Okay, let's rethink this just a little bit. Okay. Do we need to pre-drill? Is that what I'm seeing here? Well, if that's the case, I need a smaller drill bit. Okay. Well, that's where it's going to go. Dang it. Why do I have such a problem with nails? I am terrible with nails. Well, you're a child crawling on your knees from... Okay, I need to get some oak that I have scraps laying in the kitchen. I'll be right back. All right, so these are some scraps that I had. They used to be, you know, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work at all. These are not long enough. Okay, so let's look at the final destination here. So, this is going to be hanging on a French cleat. And, well, it looks like we... Yeah... Well, let's just go ahead and hang it from the top shelf then. That seems to be how it's looking to want to go. But before we do that, I'm getting paranoid about chat here because I've been here for like an hour and no one said a word to me. So chat, if any of you would be so kind, if you can see this, or if you can hear me, to type anything at all in chat. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and send a message myself. Just for grins, to see if that worked. yourself. Take only what you need from it. Yep. Seems to be working as far as I can tell. So, y'all just must have not anything interesting to say. And that's alright. That's alright. We'll survive. Okay. So, how do I want to address this? So this thing, if you are so inclined, is just a spot that we used for, it laid in a drawer, fit the drawer width perfectly, and you could rest spices along here, and put another one and rest spices along there. Worked pretty well. So, I think this is glued. Let's test that theory. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. So, let's rip it. And then we'll have to adjust that angle there. I had to phone someone, so I picked on you. Hey, that's far out, so you heard him too. We may pick him up on channel 2. Look out your window, I can see his light. All right. Now this is trash. Told me, let the children use it. Let the children lose it. Let all the children boogie. right, so now we need to change this to a 45-degree angle. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that with a pencil. All right, so now we know where here we need to go. All right, so I'm just going to try and plane it down. Let's get a bit of a rougher cut, maybe. A little bit lighter plane. Pretty close. Check the fit. That should do nicely. Let's cut this roughly in half. I'm just for you. Ooh, love. Ooh, love the boy. Yeah, boy. All right, let's get some screws. I can put the nails away. I'm done with the nails. Grow faster, faster. Some washers. All right. Just some deck screws, but they'll do the trick. They'll do quite nicely. Okay, did I grab an egg beater somewhere? There it is. Okay, it's going to go this way. What's up?
Are you done streaming?
No.
You froze.
I froze. Okay. Hopefully that's hopefully I'm back on. Now that's gonna mess up the audio. So more editing, yay. But we'll be all right. Actually, let's think about this rationally. I'm going to need let's do it about there. So yeah, new holes. So I'm actually going to need this to go into the wood. Oh, man. There's like 5 of them inside.
Where?
Oh, here, you can have one.
What?
Yes, you can have one. It's like 20 tape measures in this house. You never find any of them. Make love to me. Enough. Am I worth enough? Am I rich enough? I'm not too. Something tells me this is not going to work like I want it to. Put me out with no shoes on my feet. Put me out. All right, now let's countersink these. Which I do often enough that I keep a countersink bit almost permanently attached to this brace. And this is the only non-ratcheting brace I have. I think maybe this one could use just a a little dot or two of oil. Friction is not your friend. Work it in there. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Okay. Last countersink. This song should not be on here. Okay. So now we take these and we bring you guys back behind. Okay, let's try and figure out a way to secure this so we can actually work on it. Step 1, clean that off. Step 2, that's not going to work, is it? Oh well. So we're just going to have to do it like, how are we going to do this? So maybe a clamp. If I get drunk, will I pass out on the floor now, baby? You won't bother me no more. That's probably gonna be how we're gonna do it. Okay, so we'll take our egg beater. That might do it. Okay, and for now, I don't want to look for the soap. So I'm going to put some oil on these. Get the Yankee screwdriver. Get the Yankee screwdriver turning clockwise. All right, there we go. pour this out some more. Just using the little oil can trick here. That'll make these turn a lot easier. Okay, there's one. Just move this over so we can brace it up against the vise. That's not good. There we go. Another screw. We have definitely done some work today. Okay, so that did not work as intended. Seems to have slipped a little bit. So let's see what damage we've done. Okay. So I'm just going to put this back on here. And rather than try and salvage that hole, I'm just going to bore a new one. Pull that off to the side. And that should work just fine. Just wish I could hold this a little bit steadier. I know, bigger bench. Go on. Drill you. That should be enough, especially if I drop everything everywhere. And one last screw in the oil. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, villains and henchmen, we have a sawtill. Now, maybe we can do that with a crosscut. No, we need to do it with the curve that we've got on there. Maybe I should have thought of that before. Well, I did. I just didn't think to actually execute it. Alright, so I might need to do something with these smaller saws. But yeah, I've got more room on my bench now. I can put my saw files right there. And I don't know why this is leaning. That's why I put that in backwards. That makes a lot of sense. That's probably why my tenons were all jacked up. It's because I put it in backwards. Oh boy, that's embarrassing. You think it's too late to pull that out? Only one way to find out. Okay. Now that's definitely a lost cause. Oh man, so we're just gonna have to live with our mistakes. And every time we look back there, it will be a constant reminder to double and triple check. Ah. Well, we're just going to have to work the saw back in there. And hopefully, eventually, it'll start working a groove out for itself. Well, not my proudest movement for sure, but I've got a sawtill, and that's saying something. File goes there. Get the saw set. That goes in here too. Yeah, I don't have a good place to put these still. Except maybe there. That'll work. Well, folks, I think that's probably all I've got in me for tonight. So I hope you, all of you enjoyed what you saw. Hopefully you learned from my mistakes, because I rarely ever do. Maybe you want to be inspired to build something now. Doesn't matter. I want you to be inspired to learn something. Don't care what. Don't care what. Learn how to work with wood. Learn how to I don't know, learn a new language. Just always improve yourself if you can. Learn to play the guitar. Or better yet, learn to play the drums, because we don't have nearly enough drummers in the world. You can't throw a rock without hitting a guitar player. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to put on my AFK screen. I'm going to look for another streamer, maybe one I follow and think is worthy of your attention, or maybe just someone at random. Who knows? And if I can't find anybody, well, I guess you're on your own. But if you haven't already, give me a follow. If you want to follow, if you've already followed me, you want to follow me some more, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, all of the internets. Links are down below. Yeah, so check me out there. And Instagram's a big one. Definitely Instagram. We'll see you next time. I'm on usually, almost always, Mondays and Fridays at 3 p.m. Central Time. And I'll see you there. But catch you later.